Welcome to AlphaCars. My name is Dimitri and today we're checking out 1991 Moskvitch 412. This one was built by factory at Izhevsk, and we already had a few cool videos about this vehicle. Today we're going to do a formal overview. So let's start from cold start of the vehicle. Okay, no choke, right? Before we start it, let's open the hood and let's glance at it. Make sure it's a cold start. Got it. Okay. And by the way, this vehicle is 100% original with how many kilometers, Grisha?
We have 9,433
kilometers. Mileage is about 5,000–6,000 miles. That's very, very impressive. This car has all original panels, all original paint. It still has the quality control paper sticker on the engine valve cover. And before we start it, I'm gonna put my hand on the engine to let you know it's like cold. I also put it on the exhaust manifold. So it is cold engine, and look at how nice and how clean it is. We did the video on this vehicle upon its arrival from Russia in 2017. It is 2021 now. 4 years later, we're doing an overview because we originally purchased this vehicle for our Soviet-era car collection, which reached at some point over 30 vehicles, but we do need room for our showroom, for our business day-to-day operation, so we're reducing quantity of our collection, and this one has to go. It's a rare offering, so let's get it started. Please go ahead. So it's actually been sitting here for a few days. We're going to use a unique feature of this engine, and here it is on the fuel pump. Check this out. There's this little lever right here. So what we're able to do with this lever, we can pump up fuel in the carburetor. Now that it's pumped up, we're going to give it another try. Now with the gas pumped up into the carburetor, we should be able to start it right up. We have the choke just about quarter out. Let's give it a quick crank and see how we do. Check this out. Start it up just like a fuel injected automobile. We're going to warm it up and take it out for you to see the rest of the vehicle. So let's close the hood and get it out in the open. Yeah, it's warming up. Let's remove our buyer's guide. We're full compliance dealership. Nice and crisp shifting. Check out this shifter. Pull the choke in. Clutch is super smooth. We still have that squeak in our steering system. I remember in 2017 it had that, so we're definitely going to take care of that. This car has not been in for the major overhaul because it didn't need one. We've been using it on and off. We've had it on parades. Backing up, so the reverse gear is like this, all the way to the left and up. So let's start our walk around. It idles beautifully, still getting to the operating temperature. You can see the water temperature gauge, it says 40 degrees Celsius. We need to get close to 90, and the choke is in. So check out this beauty. Yes, there are some little dents and dings. We'll show you what they are, but overall, isn't that amazing? This car is 100% original. All the body panels, all paint, all hardware, even clamps, everything. Even this locking lug nut right there, that's all original. From when this car was new, which was not unusual. Anyone in Russia that had the opportunity to buy a new vehicle had cherished and preserved it, because they were to keep it for their generations, for their generation and generations to come. So it was not uncommon when the vehicle was purchased new, it was literally disassembled, fully checked, rust-proofed, and reassembled with amazing attention to detail. And then the aluminum splash shields were installed. You can see this goofy rust-proofing. There were seams that were sealed. You would see all of that, so you could see how this car was done like that. Let's continue with the vehicle inspection. There's absolutely no rust. The underbody on this car looks truly and incredibly original, and it's impressive. Like, when you look underneath, it's just hard to comprehend how this vehicle was kept and maintained. So you can see the condition of the trunk. Look at all these panels, and yes, it is original car even from the cardboard inserts for sound deadening. All the seals are the same, The nameplate clips are original. There was absolutely no body work anywhere on this vehicle. You can even see, of course, all the hardware is original. You still see a little bit of rust proofing that was placed on the jamb right there in the back. So for those of you that know these cars and they're seeing this car, they're probably like, wow, this is unreal. Yes, it's close to unreal. Check out these doors. Check out the clips. Look at the color, original anodized color of the door lock latch. And that's throughout all the panels. We're going to finish all 4 doors since we started on them. Door trim in incredibly nice condition, and check out this interior door lock. So there are no knobs. You'd use that to close the door. All the felt little detail is in great shape. You can see all that. And the last door, again, plenty of rust proofing. You can see right here. Look at how it was all done, and it paid off. This car lasted since 1991. Of course, it was not used very much, but if this rust proofing wasn't done and if the car was not kept inside, we would not have the pleasure of having this car in this condition. And look at all the seals. The rubber is still nice and soft, you can see, and there's no overspray because all the paint is original. Of course, there's an original touch-up here and there, you'll see, but again, it's super impressive. So let's continue on. This is our fuse panel. There's a 12-volt power distribution plug. Check out this plug. You can plug in a spotlight or work light, and there's a clip that holds that wire in place. Look at all the sound deadening under it. It's completely unrestored. It's 100% original, just like it was at the factory. Special note on this radio, this is a removable radio that has battery power, and you can use it outside of the vehicle. All you need to do is just pull this out. Check this out. So we're gonna take it around the building real quick, and then, well, while we're inside, let's check out the interior. Hello again. We'll point out one imperfection. You can see the edge of the dashboard kind of like lifted a little bit. You can see right here. Very common, not a big deal. This is the air distribution for the defroster, and the edge of the dashboard just pulled up a little bit. We just want to disclose that. The engine sounds spectacular. We're going to go in reverse just to make sure the reverse gear sounds works good, sounds good. Look at those fins in the rear. Excellent throttle response. The reverse gear is actually geared nicely. You can do some distance in reverse. Check this out. Here's Daryl, our motorcycle specialist, with his dog. So this is about time we use our forward gears. And actually, while we parked right here, I'm going to use this elevated spot, and you can have a better look because it's a shaded area. So let's check this out. Look at those beautiful fins. Nice chrome. Welcome back to late 70s, a little bit of 80s, and since this was a Russian military factory that made this car, it was made in early 90s with the technology and materials from the 70s and 80s, and quality and substantiality from the Russian military factory. Well, this is probably a good time to cover some dents. I'll point them out real quick, and then we'll continue with our test drive. I'm actually going to shut off the engine for now. Probably reached operating temperature. So let's start from the roof. None of these dents really take away from the appearance. There are no large dents or no, oh my God, what happened here. Again, the car is 1991, and it traveled across the globe from Russia to United States with love. So let's start with it. There's a tiny little dent right here, slightly larger one, barely noticeable, but there's one here. And I'll try to move the camera so you can see it. The rest of the roof is, so there is one dent right here. No paint damage, just a light crease. And that's about it for the roof. Passenger side fender. Again, barely noticeable. Parking lot dinged or less, no paint damage. Passenger side doors, again, a small ding, barely noticeable. I'll move the camera, you can see it. Another one right here, similar to that. Again, a lot of these you wouldn't notice unless you really looked, but we're full transparency dealership, so we will show you everything we know and everything we see. There's a high spot on the trunk right here with a tiny little chip. We're going to touch that up, but there it is. The rest of the trunk, a couple of creases right here, probably from closing the trunk. And similar condition on the driver's side. We have a couple of small dings, no paint damage, and a little bit around the door handle right here. Check that out. Again, probably from closing the door, you can barely see that. And the left front fender is really, really good. There's not much going on other than a small crease right here. On the hood, we have a good size ding right here. Good size meaning it's noticeable, and there's a tiny little paint damage. We'll touch that up. Another little dent right in this area, no paint damage. And there is a ding with a paint damage. We're going to touch that up right there. And a chip right here, we're going to touch that up. So other than that, we're in great shape. All the glass is in great condition, no pitting, no scratches, no scuffs. Usually you watch Russian movies and I noticed there's always a car with a big crack in the windshield. Well, our Soviet era car collection, these cars do not have cracks in the windshields. They're in great condition. But windshields in the past was always a deficit, and if there was a crack, people didn't pay much attention to it. So now that we covered that, and by the way, the chrome is beautiful. Steel rims are in amazing condition. Tires are still original, made in USSR. USSR. The country doesn't exist, but we're looking at the tire that was made by that country. And again, we'll glance at the underbody. You can see the condition of parts in great condition, some dirt on them. So we didn't clean the underbody just yet, but this is definitely nice and dry, no rust underbody. Okay, so let's drive it. Let's move it forward. So these cars do not have air conditioning. We're going to use the crank, which is nice and smooth, and we're going to lower all four windows. Check that out. Nice and easy. Yeah, it already feels like we turned the air conditioning on. There's a lot of headroom. Speaking of headroom, the headliner is in impeccable condition. Really, really, really impressive. Check this out. Nice and clean, no rips. We have one red light. There aren't many red lights. There's only one. And if you have this red light on, that means your parking brake is on. So let's bring this down. Simple operation. Boom. Shifting gear is a breeze. Check out our reflection in our beautiful showroom windows. It's a head turner. I had my head turned because I wanted to see how I look in this car when I'm driving it. Excellent throttle response. If you have to deal with occasional off-road, no worries, you can do that. Just put it in gear and you're good to go. Plenty of road clearance. ground clearance, if there are some inclines you have to deal with, this is the car to take. These were used in the villages. Look at the angle that we are on, and it's not going anywhere. Check this out. Blends nicely with the grass. So let's keep going. Idles nice and smooth. So we have good oil pressure. As you can see, we're right in the middle at idle. We're practically at operating temperature. We're going to start from the engine. I have the microphone, so we're going to run the microphone around the engine to get this here. On the bottom of the engine as well. Very nice and smooth running idle. We're going to give it a little bit of RPM. I'm actually going to situate the microphone right here. So let me do the, we're going to go off idle just a little bit. So we're going to take it on the road. Nice job with the clutch and throttle. How is the clutch on this one?
It's really nice. It's the last stick car I drove was a muscle car, and they're two different worlds, to say the least.
Speaking of muscle cars, this would be considered in the 80s in Russia a muscle car. 1.6 liter Moskvitch. You had to have muscle to buy it first, a financial muscle, and then compared to other vehicles on the road, this was a muscle car. It's a hot day. It's a beautiful day, but it's hot and kind of muggy, and with all four windows open and plenty of headroom, it feels pretty nice actually. Not an uncomfortable ride. And check out these stainless steel windshield wipers. This car is so original throughout that even the windshield wiper blades are still factory original. And while we're driving, I have to show you a little bit more about the radio. I know I mentioned it a few times, but it's actually the type of the radio that you can remove and enjoy outside of the car. It even has the little antenna that you'd be able to use to get your favorite stations. And unfortunately, the favorite stations in the United States and in Russia uses different frequencies. So it may not work on all stations you expect it to work. Well, we're going to gas up the Moskvitch. Even though it's a Russian car, we need to use an American credit card to fill up the gas. So let's get it filled up. Only the best, 93 octane. $7 gallons and $25 later, we have probably close to full tank, and we're ready for the road. Let's close the trunk. We have to close the trunk first. Yep. We got it. So we're actually driving on the highway. We are traveling to our Spencer location. So let's see how it looks from the front view of the Moskvitch. It's actually very, very comfortable on the highway. Independent front suspension does very well. The 1.6 liter, I believe it's a 76 horsepower inline 4, slightly slanted to the right. That engine does very, very well. And we're about to take the exit. How's it? We're stopping in at St. Joseph's Abbey. Nice roads. This place is known for Spencer jams and beer, and definitely should look them up on Google Maps and stop by if you're in the area. And the Moskvitch is doing really, really good. Pretty serious incline. How's the engine?
It's pretty good. It's pulling us right along. The speedometer says anywhere from 20 to 40 miles per hour, which just means that we should follow the average. Otherwise, it's running great, shifting great.
Yes.
It pulls right along at low RPMs. I'll have to take this right.
Yeah, take a right.
Corner's pretty good too, nice and tight.
So we're getting up on a very steep hill here in Spencer. Look at this. Getting close to our showroom. We're getting close to our Spencer showroom. We took some back roads, just climbed a pretty serious hill, and here is our Spencer location in the historic downtown Spencer. We lucked out with the weather.
у меня с паркинг-брейка нету.
Here we are.